What's good, y'all? Adrian back. So, listen, if you're new here, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, man. I appreciate all of the channel growth. I appreciate all of my day ones and all of my new subs, man. Much love to the entire family. I've been wanting to do this video right here for a nice little while now because it's something that I experienced coming out of my discard. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys can relate. And hopefully this helps some of you guys that are currently feeling this. And that is the feeling of like anxiousness when you came out of that discard. It was like a feeling that I couldn't describe because it wouldn't go away. It was a feeling like I couldn't really focus at work because I had this intense anxiousness. Like I wanted revenge. I wanted to strike back. I wanted to defend myself. I wanted to defend everything that had just happened to me coming out of the discard, and I couldn't really understand everything. It was like a heightened sense of awareness, and you stayed in that heightened sense of awareness because you feeling like you being attacked. So your body is kind of like in this fight or flight mode all the time. And me, I'm a natural fighter. I'm going to fight. So I was in this natural state of fight all the time. Like and not saying that I was like going around just angry and screaming on people and barking on people and stuff like that. It wasn't like that. It was like this energy inside of me that I couldn't focus at work. Like I was trying to, like I have a very technical job and I have to be very accurate in what I do. And I just had this feeling of like anger inside of me that I couldn't even focus on the task at hand at work. So I ended up like getting on probation at work and all of that kind of stuff because I couldn't really focus on my task at hand. And then even at night when I tried to go to sleep, I still felt this kind of anxiousness, like I couldn't really get to sleep. I would be tired, I would feel a tiredness, but it would be like this anxiousness running through my body that I just could not get to sleep. And like I said, that was because my body was constantly in that fight or flight mode. And I want you guys to understand that if you are currently here, it will go away, y'all. It will definitely go away, but it's something that helped me tremendously while I was going through that. And it's the reason that I'm doing this video is because I actually got this tip from Narcissist Chronicles channel, Coach Jesse Cabrera. I think that's his name. He is an amazing life coach. He's an amazing narcissistic abuse coach. And if you guys get a chance, go and follow his channel, man. He puts out a lot of great content, but he does a breathing exercise at the beginning of every one of his videos. And at first, I didn't take heed to it. Like I had watched plenty of his videos and I had never actually done the breathing exercise. But he kept saying it over and over and over, and I noticed that I was getting in situations where I would have to face the narcissist because, again, I'm in a gray rocking situation. I didn't have the luxury to go completely no contact with my narcissist. So I would notice that I felt this anxiousness even when I wasn't around her, but it would heighten when she would come around or when she would text me. And it was one of the things that kind of helped me in my journey, so I wanted to share that with you guys on this channel. And like I said, it was just a breathing exercise. He does like a 5-second breathing exercise where he just inhales, holds it for 5 seconds, and pretty much breathes out. And I did not realize how much breathing exercises help with that feeling of anxiousness and all of that kind of stuff, because I immediately saw the benefits of doing that. Even when I had to deal with the narcissist, I would do the breathing exercise. Like when she would pull up to drop my son off or something like that, I would do the breathing exercise, and that feeling of anxiousness would kind of regiment itself, and I would be able to deal with her in that moment, logically, and just keep my emotions out of everything. And that helped me out tremendously until I got to the point where I didn't have to do that as much. And it also kind of trained me to not respond so fast. So Like if originally I was so anxious and so upset at everything that happened, as soon as she would text me, I would text back just in anger. I would text back like she would text me something, I would respond right away. And number one, that's letting them know that they still have control over you, because it's like, if you are so quick to respond to the text, they feeling like, oh yeah, he was waiting for that text. He was waiting for me. He was sitting over there waiting by the phone for me, that type of thing. Even though that may be the furthest thing from the truth, you may have wanted to respond because of whatever they did to you, and you just want some type of justice. You want some type of get back for the stuff that they did to you. So in my situation, I noticed when I started regimenting myself with that breathing exercise, I was able to give myself a small window of room where I did not respond to her right away. And then I started noticing that I wasn't responding out of emotion anymore. Everything was all logic. And it's because I gave myself time to really think about what I was going to say, or just get my own personal emotions in check. And that's the main thing, is being able to just control your own emotions. That's one of the main things that you'll learn from dealing with a narcissist and coming out of a narcissistically abusive relationship, is to regiment your own self and control your own emotions. Because if you allow other people to dictate and control, your emotions for you, then they pretty much got control over you. That's something that I had to learn myself. I never really thought it was people like this that would play on your emotions to try to control you in any way. I thought we all kind of just lived in our own free will, and I never understood that there were predators out here like this until I actually learned about narcissistic abuse. And when I started looking into it, I started realizing it was way more people around me that were extremely toxic, and I didn't even understand. Like, I had heard the word toxic before, I had heard narcissist before, but I didn't actually understand how they operated. And once I started realizing how they operated, I started realizing how I had been handling things throughout my entire life. Because obviously we've been around these people our entire lives, and these are, in the workplace and in your family and, in relationships and all of that kind of stuff. So after learning about narcissism, I realized I had so many different toxic people in my life. And I started realizing that I had always been regimenting myself. I had always been grave rocking. And in some instances, I had always been going no contact with toxic people. This is way before I even knew what any of these techniques were. So some of this stuff is kind of built in. When you know you're being mistreated, you're gonna get away from that. When the sneaky part is when you don't realize that you're being mistreated. And that's what happened in my case. I was being mistreated in a way that was so subtle that you couldn't see it at first. I wouldn't have been able to see anything that was happening if I didn't if I wasn't patient. I literally had to be extremely patient, and I had to wait for her to make a mistake. Now, if I had just rushed through everything and glossed over all the little red flags and stuff, see, I was catching the red flags and I was keeping mental note of it, and that helped me in my situation. But if I had been speeding and I had just been rushing through life, I wouldn't have caught those things. I would have overlooked a lot of stuff. So that's one of the things that I know in my own personal situation. Like, in the first probably 6 months after the discard, it was this feeling of anxiousness, and I could not get rid of it. I did not know how to regiment myself to the point where I wasn't feeling that emotional pull every time that I would have to see her, or every time that I would have to talk to her in any type of way. And she of course has my son, so there's always like that emotional drag right there. There's always that emotional pull right there. So once I started realizing what was going on, and the fact that she basically still had control over the situation, because she could do any little thing to play on my emotions. And when I started realizing that, I said, well, the only way for me to get past any of this is just to ignore her and just continue to move on. And I realized that Coach Jesse, his breathing exercise definitely helped me get through that feeling of anxiousness and those sleepless nights. I was able to actually get some sleep after I started doing the breathing exercise and regiment myself in that way. So I hope that helps you guys. It's totally normal for you to feel that way, because they have you in like a heightened state of fight or flight, and you don't know what's going on, especially if you don't have experience with the narcissist. So your body is constantly in defense mode. You are constantly trying to defend yourself. So that's why you had that feeling of anxiousness. But I promise you, it will definitely go away. I don't feel that it nearly as much anymore at all. Even when I have to be around her, like now she comes around and it's like, yeah, whatever, I don't even care. So it'll eventually go away, y'all. Just you know, take the time, man. Take the time to heal. It's not gonna happen overnight. And if you get a chance, man, watch some videos on doing breathing exercises and meditation. I think it would definitely help you, especially if you're newly coming out of a narcissistic relationship. So learn about those breathing exercises, y'all. Man, salute to the entire family. Love y'all, and I will talk to y'all later.